Welcome to another episode of Chat with Kari on Diya TV. I'm your host, Kari Lane, and joining me today is acclaimed writer-director Geeta Malik, and she's here to talk about her new film, India Sweets and Spices. Welcome and thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this movie. And first off, that soundtrack is phenomenal. Starting with Raja Kumari and Shook, I was like, yes, I'm rocking her out. This is a great tone to start the film.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, we had a lot of fun choosing the songs, and we had a great music supervision team that helped us get all those tracks. So yeah, lots of fun.
Nice. Well, also mad props to them. There's at least one or two scenes where the beat goes so well with what the action is in the film. Yeah. And how is that as a director when you see those moments come together? Because, when you're on set, you're not having the music that might be in the end product. So when you see that final come together, what's that like?
Oh, it's awesome. It feels great. I mean, I grew up on Bollywood, and that's, kind of a hallmark of Bollywood too, is how the music intersects with the story. And so having those moments in this film was really special. And, some of the songs, the Bollywood songs especially, have little sort of lyrical Easter eggs for what's happening in the scene. And there's one song that I actually wrote into the script, and that was Sheila Ki Javani.
That was one of the moments.
I did hear that.
The mom turns and it's the I'm Sheila.
Yeah.
So when you go watch this film, it's such a perfect moment.
Thank you.
Yes.
Lots of fun.
Oh, so fun. And I love the aspect of the Bollywood-ish, even though it's kind of slice of life-y. Tell me about that, of how you wanted to keep it grounded as it's still a coming of age tale, but you have a lot of fun with the music, also the title cards of whose party it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I wanted to make sure it was still an entertaining film, and people could still have fun and enjoy themselves, but that groundedness of the characters really is what propels a story forward. This plot, everything that happens in the movie, I hope feels that it can happen to people like you and me. It's universal, it's relatable. And then the things that are a little bit more exaggerated, a little bit more blown out of proportion, a little stereotypical, those are cliches that are sort of subverted by the end. And, we do it very winky tongue in cheek too, that moment where she first sees Varun in the store, with the hair and all of that, that's an homage to Bollywood. That's what I love. So.
I'm looking for some biscuits.
Mom, where are the biscuits?
You're restocking them, Varun.
It's very funny. It does a great job of walking that fine line of not absurd, but it's amusing and absolutely relatable.
Oh, good. Thanks.
So the title India Sweets and Spices, was that something that you always had in mind when you were writing it, or did that come about later?
No, that came about a little bit later. It was originally called Dinner with Friends when I first started writing it. And the idea was that because the dinner parties were sort of these signposts throughout the film. So it made sense for that title. And then later on, we just realized, so much of what happens in our community, the grocery store is sort of a nexus for our community. The dinner parties are a nexus, and then the grocery stores are a nexus. And I remember going shopping with my mom when I was a kid and going to the Indian grocery store. And, little dramas would play out there too, in the aisles with the biscuits, and you'd see your aunties and you'd see your uncles. And, we really wanted to pay homage to a place that felt like a gathering place for our community. That's where that came from.
Aunties, all they do is sit around and gossip.
You too. When should we start our wedding shopping, eh?
Ah, that's so annoying.
Now, tell me, you mentioned a little bit about the film, but if you could briefly tell me about the idea. How did that idea come about, and why tell this story now?
That's a good question. It came about just thinking about my own memories as a kid and wanting to, again, sort of not pay homage, but, really explore the idea of these dinner parties and this community that I grew up in, and trying to explain to myself what the motivations of the parents were there, what the motivations of, this whole community of immigrants. What were we doing there? Why were we having these parties? And why did they leave such an impression on my mind? And it's because when I was a kid, they were a lot of fun. But then as I got a little bit older, as I became a teen, I realized there was a lot going on behind the scenes, and the parents were dealing with a lot of pressures of their own. And, everyone had this perfect facade and they were trying to keep up with each other, but there's a lot of emotion and heartbreak behind the scene as well. And, it came out in these little gossipy, backstabby moments where people were just trying really hard to keep their own lives going. So I think it felt like a very rich tapestry, if you will, to explore and just discover these characters and discover what was driving them. And I think, this is sadly enough, it's always been a good time to tell this story because women's rights have always been a thing for a very, very long time. And I think I'm, a staunch feminist. I think there's always a good time to tell a story about a strong woman and strong women supporting each other. And I think more so now than ever, this is a time where our community is getting a lot more visible as well. And I think we need to be able to tell these stories that are not the usual that you see coming out of our community.
Your kid got caught having a three-way in the school gym. Yours failed his physics final and cried in front of the entire class. Yours is actually just a pothead. We all think she's pretty cool.
Speaking of the characters, the cast is also fantastic. Tell me about the casting. How is it working with all these different wonderful actors? And how fun was it? Or, what was the process like for you as a director? Because these characters have so many layers that slowly get revealed over the course of the film that you could say that a few characters are completely different by the end.
Yeah. I think they all go through their own journeys. And some of them have, certainly bigger arcs than others. And casting was, this cast is a dream. They made my job very easy because, you have icon Manisha Koirala, who is just phenomenal, really understood her character, came to set knowing what she was doing every day. She's such an actor with integrity. She's always been in any film I've seen her in. And the same goes for Adil Hussain, who is, he's a very, he plays very dignified characters usually and serious characters. And off screen, he's the warmest, kindest, funniest person. So they're both excellent actors and very, very nice human beings, which again, made my job much easier. And then Sophia, I had met at a table read prior to this film even being funded. And I just, her performance in that table read just stuck out in my mind. So I wanted to make sure she was in the mix when it came time. If I ever got lucky enough to make this movie, I wanted Sophia's name at the top of the pile. And then the two young men, we had amazing casting directors as well. They scoured the four corners of the earth to try to find us our cast. And Rish Shah and Ved Sapru are both from London. They're both British. And they were going to school out there and in drama programs, and they just auditioned and nailed it. So yeah, worked out really well for me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Then you've done the festival circuit. You've been to Tribeca, San Diego, Mill Valley. How was the festival reception? And were there any edits from the festival release of the film versus what's going to be theatrical?
Oh, no. So once it went out to festival, it was done. The film was done. We haven't tinkered with it since. And the festival run's it's been great. I think we got really lucky in a million ways with this film. But the fact that we played Tribeca, that was our premiere, and Tribeca was the first in-person festival in America after COVID. I say after COVID, I know it's still going on, but for that time, we kind of, threaded the needle there, and got to go to New York and actually see the film with an audience. And festival audiences are wonderful. They're there to support indie filmmakers. They're there to support what they see on screen. And so it was a really warm reception. So it's been a really nice festival run.
And then is that kind of like a nice moment to relax as a director that you don't need to make changes? Because I feel with so many artists, they're like, it's so hard to wash your hands of it and be done and not want to keep tinkering with it.
Yeah, I think you can, it can be an endless process if you're a certain type of person. Sorry, I'm going to hit the table here. You really can. I can watch the film and see a million places that I would, tinker with it and change it. At the same time, I'm so pleased with how it turned out. And I think the spirit and the soul of the movie really comes through. So yeah, there is that moment of relief where you're just like, oh, it's going out into the world. It's my baby. And that's all I can do is let it go and toddle away.
Your baby's going to college.
Yeah, right. Leaving the nest. Yeah.
Yes. Well, congratulations on that film release. Is there anything coming down the pipeline for you of what's up next?
Yeah, I have several scripts that I'm writing myself, specs that I would like to direct. I'm writing a studio feature right now that I also hope to direct. And I have a couple TV projects in development. So lots of things going. We'll see what hits first.
Well, wonderful. And we hope to have you back to talk about those when those come out.
Well, that would be great.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much for talking with me. And be sure to check out India Sweets and Spices, coming out Friday, November 19th. I'm Kari Lane with Chat with Kari. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.